Vasily Grigorievich Zaitsev, Junior Lieutenant, 62nd Army. His first-hand sniper experience in Stalingrad is one of the most documented and emotionally powerful foxhole-level accounts of World War II. You do not fear Soviet infantry. That was the rule. For decades, German military doctrine rested on one unshakable belief. The Red Army could field men in enormous numbers but not precision. Not finesse. Not patience. German soldiers were trained to respect British discipline, to fear French artillery, to admire American industry. But Soviet soldiers? They were mocked. They were dismissed as poorly trained conscripts who relied on brute force and endless waves. Men who fired wildly. Men who broke under pressure. Men who could be crushed by superior tactics and superior skill. German officers repeated this belief until it became doctrine. German soldiers repeated it until it became comfort. If the Soviets advanced, you could stop them. If they attacked, you could outshoot them. And if they tried anything subtle, anything clever, they would fail. Nowhere was this belief stronger than in marksmanship. German soldiers trained extensively with rifles. Precision shooting was a point of pride. Soviet rifles were seen as crude. Soviet training as rushed. Soviet snipers as non-existent. You do not worry about a Red Army rifleman watching you from the ruins. That rule held until 1942. Until Stalingrad. Until one man climbed into the rubble with a Mosin-Nagant rifle and began breaking that rule, one shot at a time. Because in the ruins of a burning city on the Volga, German soldiers would learn something terrifying. They were being hunted. And by the time they realized it, one Soviet sniper had already killed more than 200 of them. You are Vasily Grigorievich Zaitsev. You are 26 years old. You grew up in the Ural Mountains hunting with your grandfather from the time you were a boy. You learned patience before you learned speed. You learned to wait in silence, to read the land, to breathe slowly while your fingers froze around a rifle stock. When you shot once. Before the war, you were a clerk in the Pacific Fleet. Not an officer. Not famous. Just another Soviet sailor when Germany invaded the Soviet Union in June 1941. By the summer of 1942, the war has gone very badly. The Wehrmacht has torn deep into Soviet territory. Entire armies have been encircled and destroyed. Millions are dead or captured. Now the Germans push toward the south, toward oil, toward the Volga, toward a city that carries the name of the man who rules the Soviet Union. Stalingrad. If the city falls, the Volga River falls with it. Soviet transport collapses. Oil from the Caucasus becomes unreachable. The southern front unravels. So the order is simple. Stalingrad must not fall. You cross the Volga under fire. German artillery shells the river relentlessly. Boats explode midstream. Men drown under the weight of their equipment. When you reach the West Bank, the city is already in ruins. Buildings collapse daily. Streets disappear under rubble. Smoke turns daylight into dusk. This is no longer a city. It is a maze. And that is when something changes. During a routine observation, you notice German soldiers moving carelessly. Standing upright. Lingering in doorways. Officers pointing openly from exposed positions. They are not afraid. They do not believe anyone is watching them closely. You take a rifle. A standard Mosin-Nagant with a 3.5 XPU scope. No special equipment. No camouflage beyond rubble and patience. Your first confirmed kills come quickly. Then more. Then more. Word spreads. German soldiers begin to notice something is wrong. Men go out on patrol and do not return. Runners collapse mid-stride. Officers fall the moment they expose themselves. A hand appears above a wall, and is instantly torn apart by a single shot. You are promoted. Given the rank of junior lieutenant. Assigned full-time as a sniper. But more importantly, you are given a mission. Teach others. Because what is happening in Stalingrad is no longer a coincidence. It is becoming a system. And the Germans are about to learn how wrong they were. The city never sleeps. Artillery pounds day and night. Buildings scream as they collapse. Dust coats your mouth. Smoke burns your eyes. You learn to live without comfort, without warmth, without certainty that you will see another dawn. You move before first light. Every position is chosen carefully. Never the obvious place. Never the highest vantage point. You crawl through shattered brick and broken glass. You lie among corpses. You wait inside burned-out factories that still smell of oil and blood. You build hides, sniper nests, out of rubble, cloth, and shadow. And then you wait. Hours pass. Sometimes days. German soldiers emerge. They think they are safe behind a wall, a window frame, a broken tank. They think no one can see them. They are wrong. You count distance. 400 meters. 300. 200. You breathe out. You fire. One shot. One kill. You never shoot twice from the same position. German reactions are immediate and panicked. They begin sending spotters. Then counter snipers. Then entire squads whose sole mission is to kill you. It does not work. Because you are not alone. You train dozens of snipers, men and women. You teach them patience. You teach them camouflage. You teach them the rule that matters most. The shot is the end of the hunt, not the beginning. German casualties climb. By October 1942, German units in Stalingrad report an invisible enemy. Morale drops. Soldiers refuse to move during daylight. Helmets are removed to avoid reflections. Periscopes are used to look around corners. German snipers are deployed, some of the best trained marksmen in Europe. One of them becomes your mirror. Major Erwin Koenig. Or Heinz Thorvald. The records disagree, but the threat is real. A senior German sniper instructor is sent to Stalingrad with one purpose. Kill you. Days pass. You know he is there. You feel it. The city grows quieter, more tense. Shots ring out that are not yours. You see the signs: perfect camouflage, disciplined fire, no wasted movement. This becomes a duel. You do not rush. Neither does he. 3 days. 4. 5. At one point, a decoy helmet is raised on a stick. A shot cracks the air. The bullet tears through the steel helmet. You have his position. But you do not fire. Because you know he is waiting for that. Instead, you wait another full day. The cold sinks into your bones. Your face stiffens. Your eyes burn. Then you see it. A glint. Sunlight reflected off a scope lens for a fraction of a second. That is enough. You fire. The German sniper slumps backward, dead before he hits the ground. The duel is over. Your tally continues to rise. 200. 210. 220. By the end of the battle, your confirmed kills reach 225. Each one documented. Each one witnessed. German soldiers begin calling Stalingrad the sniper's graveyard. They are terrified to move. And for the first time in the war, German infantry realizes something unthinkable. They are no longer the hunters. They are the prey. Mid-roll seat. If you find this kind of forgotten history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage, sacrifice, and genius deserve to be told. And by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. The fighting grows more desperate. Room by room. Floor by floor. Sometimes Germans and Soviets occupy different levels of the same building. Grenades bounce down stairwells. Bayonets flash in darkness. Men fight at distances measured in meters. But snipers change everything. German assaults slow. Attacks stall. Officers hesitate to lead from the front. Every pause gives the Red Army time. Time to reinforce. Time to counterattack. Time to survive. By November 1942, the German Sixth Army is overextended. Soviet forces launch Operation Uranus. A massive counteroffensive slams into the flanks, held by weaker Axis allies. The trap snaps shut. 250,000 German soldiers are encircled. Stalingrad becomes their grave. What the Germans did not know was that Stalingrad was changing warfare itself. Snipers were no longer individuals. They were systems. The Red Army institutionalized sniper training. Dedicated schools were created. Doctrines rewritten. Women like Lyudmila Pavlichenko would go on to record hundreds of kills of their own. German command reacted in shock. Reports from the front described soldiers immobilized by fear. Units unable to advance. Entire days lost because no one dared cross open ground. The psychological impact was devastating. Stalingrad marked the first time a full German field army was annihilated. From that point on, the Wehrmacht would never regain the initiative in the east. And it started with something they laughed at. A Soviet rifleman. A sniper. A man they believed could not possibly match them. Vasily Zaitsev survives the war. He is wounded by mortar fire in early 1943 and temporarily blinded. He recovers. He returns to service. After the war, he lives quietly, working as an engineer in Kiev. He never seeks fame. But his legacy endures. He trained more than 30 snipers directly. Together, they accounted for thousands of enemy casualties. His methods are still studied today. To this day, Stalingrad, now Volgograd, stands as a warning written in stone and blood. Arrogance kills. Underestimation kills. And sometimes history turns not on armies, but on one man lying motionless in the ruins, waiting for the smallest mistake. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or country and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Vasily Zaitsev and the 225 men he killed in Stalingrad do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.